Right, let's talk about mould. This is a big thing. It's been a big topic. I've been talking about this on my socials now for 6 months or more. And not everyone's going to agree with what I've got to say, but the law is very specific. So the new Renters' Rights Act includes something called Awab's Law. Now, Awab was a young boy that sadly passed away a few years ago from inhaling spores from black mould due to his property being not sufficient to live in. So because of that, we have now got the Renters' Rights Act that's coming in next year, which will include certain elements to protect tenants from Awab's Law. Starting with social housing providers. So social housing providers will initially be the first people that have to abide by this particular element of the law. So what the Renters' Rights Act says is that anyone that reports the presence of black mould to their social housing provider, then that social housing provider has got a window of 24 hours to put a plan together, acknowledge it, and start to correct it. Now, that's a little bit grey within the legislation. It doesn't say what they have to do. It doesn't say that they've got to fix it within 24 hours. It just says it's got to be acknowledged, and then a plan needs to be put together, because let's face it, we're not going to be able to do anything within 24 hours. But this is just for social landlords. Now, it's going to be phased in for private landlords over the next few years. There's no specific date yet for private landlords under this legislation to have to do the same. But hey, look, there's an old debate of whose fault it is if the tenant is living with black mould. So if there's black mould in the property, some landlords, not me, will say, well, it's the tenant's fault for not doing this, it's up to them to sort it out. Some landlords will say, look, it doesn't matter whose fault it is, let's get it fixed. So as a landlord, you have an obligation to allow the tenant to live in a property that does not affect their health. That's your obligation. It's a legal obligation under HHSRS. That's a health and safety rating system for houses. So don't argue with the tenant on who's right and who's wrong. Just help them fix it. How do you do that? There's loads of ways you can educate the tenant. You can put trickle vents in windows if you haven't got them already, or you can put a PIV system in. PIV is a positive input ventilation system, which forces air through the property, draws it outside, and stops the buildup of moisture, which will stop the buildup of black mould spores. So there you have it. I'll keep you updated. Don't forget to follow for more.